Hello all, dear subscribers and guests of my channel. Russian prisons, places are not happy, and not only because of the living conditions, but mostly because of the morals that prevail there. And especially so have prisons for juvenile offenders at all times. The unspoken rules developed by juvenile prisoners are particularly cruel and petty because their authors are children. Just as in adult Russian prisons, the cell is run by authority figures, those who belong to the professional criminals. The largest category of prisoners is the Patsaks. This is the name given to prisoners who have committed their first crime and are determined to return to a normal life after serving their sentence. They do not break the rules established by the authorities, they do not cooperate with the administration, but they do not aspire to the status of an authority either. Each representative of these castes can ascend to a higher caste. Representatives of lower castes never get such a promotion. These castes include servants, goats, snitches, and roosters. Each newly arrived juvenile delinquent is given a registration test in order to determine the moral qualities and status of the person. There is a rule: no admission tests can be arranged for a person until all the norms of behavior and traditions of the prison are explained to him. In Russian prisons for juveniles, the tests look like an initiation ritual in various primitive tribes, on the one hand, and like an extremely cruel, but nevertheless, game, on the other. The test subject is asked a number of clever questions, such as, why is Zhukov riding a white horse? The correct answer is on the ground, and while the novice is thinking about the answer, he will be beaten in the chest at the same time. He may be made to jump from the top tier of the bed upside down to test how brave he is. If he dares to jump, his comrades will have time to stretch a blanket and catch him, but if he is afraid, he will be immediately relegated to the lowest caste of prisoners. Information about the newcomer from the outside, his record so to speak, is also of great importance. If it is known that the newcomer was once humiliated, then the most brilliant passage of a propiska will not help him. If, on the other hand, he's an experienced authority, then he won't need a residence permit, and he'll get all the respect and honor he deserves. However, any representative of the higher castes should keep an ear to the ground so as not to be humiliated. Not only the one with whom the sexual intercourse took place is considered humiliated, but one can be humiliated by throwing urine or by touching the skin with the genitals. In addition, you can get into the category of cocks simply by ignorance, if you sit at the same table with them, and even by darning your own socks. Even an educator can put you down on purpose, as punishment, by moving you from a prestigious sleeping place to the goats, and even worse, to the roosters. In Russian prisons, where juvenile offenders are held, there are many different taboos, the violation of which threatens immediate punishment. Even the inmates themselves don't always know why they should do this or that thing, but the answer is the same: you shouldn't do it. For example, one must not pick up objects that have fallen off the floor, especially a toothbrush and cigarettes. In the bath, it is categorically forbidden to pick up soap. It is obligatory to wash one's hands after the toilet, and the matter is not only hygiene, but also the fact that the hand, which touched the genitals, becomes as if ritually unclean, defiling everything it touches. 2 sponges should be used in the bathhouse, one to wash the body above the waist and the other everything below the waist. Authoritative prisoners are not allowed to eat black bread. By the way, juvenile offenders strike with a number of strange food taboos. For example, you cannot eat sausage, too. It looks like the male sex organ. You can't eat lard either, because the pig is impregnated with the smell of uncleanness. You can't eat chicken either, because the rooster has mated with it. In some prisons, young prisoners refuse to eat barley porridge because it is the food of the rooster, and they also refuse to eat cabbage because they believe it is the food of the goat. During the meal, care must be taken that the last spoon does not touch the bottom of the plate. There must always be something left at the bottom, otherwise such a prisoner will be considered greedy and perpetually hungry. Finally, the strictest prohibition for juvenile prisoners is anything with a red color. Red is the color of the Soviet power, and power is the enemy of all authoritative and correct prisoners. No proper prisoner in a juvenile prison will ever hold an object of red in his hands. Not even cigarettes if they are in a red pack. If someone's mother comes to visit wearing a red sweater or a red handkerchief, the proper prisoner must refuse the visit. After 1991, however, this taboo disappeared along with the red power. Only adolescents under the age of 18 could be in juvenile prison. Those who have reached the age of majority, but have not yet served their time, are transferred to an adult colony. Colony officials assure that they can find a common language with the kids. although they admit that it is much easier to work with adults. Over time, there are fewer and fewer penal colonies in Russia due to the reduction in the number of juvenile offenders. In 2007, the Russian Federation had 62 correctional colonies with more than 16,000 people. As of 2018, the number has dropped to 23, which is almost 3 times less, and the number of inmates as of November 1, 2018 was 1,318. Russia's penal colonies now offer the best conditions for holding teenagers. They live in small rooms of 5 people, each of which has its own TV, refrigerator, work desk. In the corridor, there are several shower rooms where inmates wash themselves. The inmates are no longer on duty anywhere, they only study and work.